Geeks, nerds, gamers, and trolls, this is your MMOBomb.com first look at Broken Ranks. It is free to play. You can try it now. An isometric MMORPG, something a little different with turn-based combat. We're going to take a look and help you decide if it's something that you want to try. I am, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the noob fish, Troy Blackburn. And this is character creation. So there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different classes available currently in the game. You got the barbarian, your big two-handed weapon wielder. You've got the knight, sword and board protector, fire mage, voodoo for that creepy aesthetic. You've got the Sheed, which is sort of a rogue, your archer, and your druid, which is your healer class with lower damage. So I've already got a character created here. I've got a knight, sword and board. Usually my thing in the turn-based combat, I'm not sure if I might end up playing another class eventually, but for right now, I went to the old tried and true sword and board. So here's what the game looks like. I really, really love the art style of this game. It is old school CRPG type art style. As you can see, it's isometric. It's got that painted background look. The character models, there's nothing super detailed about them, but they're here to exist in this gorgeous painted looking world. And there's buildings and things that you can interact with, go into, interact with NPCs for quests and combat. I really like the world. I've enjoyed it so far. The music has been really well done. Everything as far as being in the world has really felt really good so far. So let's jump over to just some gameplay. Just to show you a little bit of the combat, I'm going to pick up a quest from this guy right here. So I'm going to click to interact with him. There is going to be a lot of text reading in this game. I hope you like reading text. If you don't, you can just blow through it. But there's a lot of reading. This guy, however, is fairly simple. He's just going to give us a little repeatable task that we can do every 20 minutes or so. And we're going to go kill some zombies. I am currently level 7. This is a level 5 quest. But just to give you a look at combat and actually going into a different zone. This is sort of the main city here where we start out. So we're going to go out here. We can fight these dogs here, as you can see. Some of them will attack you if you get close enough, the ones that have the red. And then yellow you have to actually interact with to attack. So let's go out here and we're going to go over to the Fisherman's Village. You are going to see lots of loading screens. Pretty much everything is a loading screen if you change your location. So they're not usually too long of loading screens, but just know that everything's going to load as you change over to different areas. Let's go up here. We'll fight these 2 zombies here. Now I do have a pet with me. At level 7 I had access to the pet vendor. And pick myself up a wolfhound pet. So this ought to be a fairly easy fight, but this is just to show you the combat. I've got some presets, and then I can go in and customize them. I've got 12 points to spend on different abilities, and we'll go take a better look at the abilities here momentarily. But know that I've got 12 points to spend and 10 seconds to do so. However, while this combat here is happening, I can go ahead and switch and customize and prepare myself for the next combat if I want to. So I can go ahead and get everything set up. I've got another point to spend, so we'll add that point into throwing a rock there as well. Then I can just click the timer to make it go. And beat up on some zombies. Go, doggy, doggy! Having the little pet's super cool. Sometimes you'll have companions, NPCs out in the world that join you in combat. And then you can party up and join into combat with other players as well. Now, when you party up, you will, on the overworld map here, you will just kind of join with that other player's character. And only the party leader can move the group around on the map. So you're not all moving around individually. You're all just kind of going wherever the party leader says go. And then you're all fighting and controlling your own character whenever you're fighting something. Also, if you've got a companion, as you see the dog there, I didn't actually have like any control over the dog other than having him in my party because he was a pet that I picked up. So we're going to go back into town here, and then we will take a look at some of the menus and skill abilities that we have in the game. So first of all, obviously we have inventory. We've got an armor tab, weapon tab. There's jewelry. Here's all the weapons, all the equipment that I have equipped currently. You got some pet equipment, and then you've got other stuff like potions and some crafting components. Then we can go over to the skill window, and as you level up, you're going to get not only attribute points to spend here in things like strength, dexterity, mana, stamina, sort of the typical things you would expect to have, attributes you would expect to spend points in. But you're also going to have additional points that you can spend in your abilities over here. So these are the basic abilities everybody sort of has access to. I've been putting points into this war cry for decreased chance for the enemy to hit. And then here's my class abilities for the knight specifically. As you get certain levels of your character, you get access to certain abilities, and then you can spend points in those abilities to level them up and increase their effectiveness, but it also increases like the stamina cost for me to use those. So I need to constantly be, whenever I'm adding points to my character, paying attention to what my stamina is, making sure I'm adding points into stamina or mana or whatever resource I'm trying to use. There is, of course, power and knowledge for magic users. I'm super strength and dexterity based for, you know, the damage to my abilities, as well as my chance to hit and chance to dodge with this dexterity for my knight, because I'm a tanky, beefy boy. We've also got our quest list here. As you can see, I've got a quest to go over to. There's a building right here I need to go to for a quest. I've already done several of those. We've got the world map. And you can open all these with a hotkey as well. I'm just using the mouse at the top of the screen just because, to show you where they are up there. So here's the map. This shows me, here's my quest objective that I need to go to. I've already been up here doing quests. Of course, we just left over here doing quests. So this is as far as I've gotten so far. As you can see, there's plenty more to go. I'm currently level 7 and having a good time in the game. You've also got a mail tab. You've got a team finder. There's your friends list. It does have leaderboards, so here's like the top level people. Here's the top killers. Little leaderboards you can participate in. And then the cash shop. We have to look at the cash shop. It is free to play, but there is a cash shop. There is an additional premium subscription for like 30 days. You can buy for like what's the equivalent of about $9.50 worth of currency, I believe. And then you can also get up to 90 days worth of currency. You can buy, and this should show up. Yeah, it does. Okay. The browser will open up for you to buy platinum if you would like. Sometime today, please. Thank you. So you do get a little more platinum as you spend increased amounts of money. The usual discount of getting more for spending a little more money. So let's see, you can get, let's say, 2,000 platinum. Let's just use this for a second because I'm specifically about to show you something. 2,000 platinum for $50.99. All right, so 90 days is $8.75 platinum. It does have just gear skins, and these are just skins, but they are expensive, man. 3,500 platinum for this. $50 is only 2,000 platinum. Now, platinum can be traded amongst other players. You can, pay somebody some in-game currency to pick up some platinum if you want. But, of course, usually that's just going to come from the cash shop. So those things, money-wise, are quite expensive. Other than that, there's a gender change. There's a free pet for 24 hours for 1 platinum. Increase your friend limit. You've got resets. And this is actually the only way to reset your attributes and stuff and respend those points is through the cash shop here. 50 platinum a piece to do that. You've got some teleport scrolls. You've got change of appearance of items, and then you've got a potion that resets both your skills and attributes at the same time. Then you've got the gear skins. And that's everything that is in the cash shop right now. So we'll go ahead. Oh, let me show one more thing here before we go ahead and go to our quest real quick. There is a little bit of crafting. We'll go into the hospital here. I don't have the materials currently on me to craft anything, but we can press C to look at NPC names, turn those on and off if we want. So we can talk to her, and she can craft us more potions, elixirs, and flasks if we have the proper materials. As you can see here, it's telling me what I need. Elixir exchanges. So you can swap elixirs out if you have some you don't want. You can make new elixirs if you have the materials. And then the blacksmith as well is up here. Here's a peddler, which has some basic materials. Here's a jeweler, where you can get like necklaces and rings and stuff. And you're going to get some of those as you're adventuring through the world too, but you can also come here and purchase those with some of the in-game currency. As a matter of fact, one of the quests I believe is to actually go to these vendors and pick up some items and stuff to equip. So this guy here, you can not only buy equipment from him, you can also repair your equipment. You can upgrade your equipment. You can morph it to look like something else. You can merge items together to get stats. All sorts of different systems to manipulate your gear, upgrade it, make it look the way you want. Nothing super incredibly in depth, but it all is there to get into. So far at level 7, still new player experience for sure. I've purchased a few pieces of equipment here and there, picked up a few pieces of equipment just from questing, and I sort of got a mishmash of those. Haven't dove super deep into those systems yet. So up to an actual quest. So this shouldn't be anything super spoilery, but we'll go in here and let you kind of see some of the dialogue. There are some translation issues, and it's both spelling and sort of grammatical, but this is a Polish developer. So there are a few issues here and there. I know they were working really hard to get a lot of those fixed. It is in a better place than what it was, but they've still got a little ways to go with some of that. So as you can see, lots of text choices. Some of these choices have mattered a little bit. Nothing groundbreaking so far as this choice makes a huge difference in what's going on around me. But there have been some differences in some of the choices I can make. But as you can see, lots of dialogue, lots of conversation. You can really dive into your character and what's going on in the world around you. Now these tasks here that you can pick up are sort of like side quests, and they're usually like we just killed a certain amount of zombies. This guy has killed 10 of these wild dogs quests. And you've got a timer that kind of resets every 20 minutes or so. So you can't just like go around just doing these willy-nilly. You got to time them out and do them when you haven't recently done one. So you're not going to be doing back-to-back just grinding out the kill 10 rats quests. You're going to have to do some missions and stuff in between or some group content. There are dungeons and caves and things to dive into. There should be just a very small example up here. There's a little cave out in the world. And I think the first time I found it, I just kind of stumbled upon it just by exploring. And then I think eventually I was giving a quest in this little town where I kind of wound up going up into this cave again. Here it is up here. And again, this is just a small example of, out in the world, there's going to be caves and things to dive into. And I believe I've killed a dude that was over here. Oh, he's back now. So he respawned. I think I fought him. Or maybe I may not have fought him. Don't quote me on that. I seem to remember. But yeah, this isn't a very big cave, but this is just sort of example of some of the stuff you're going to get into and some of the boss areas. So let's show a little bit of combat again and share some final thoughts on the game. Let's fight 2 of these guys, I guess. Fight me, bro. So he's got a lot of ranged abilities, so I'm going to need to take some defense out of mental attacks, put some into ranged. Then I'm also going to have to fight this melee, this primarily melee guy. So we're going to change our defense around a little bit to help us hopefully defend against that a little better. And then something else I obviously haven't done yet we'll talk about. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner, I've got health, I've got mana, I've got stamina. That actually, I'm over-leveled for this stuff, so that was a very easy fight. But when you're out in the overworld, you're going to make sure you rest in between combats. And that's just down here. You can open the potion tab down here at the bottom and drink potions if you want to, or you can just hit the campfire button and just rest, as long as you're not in combat out in the world. And as you can see, that regenerates really fast. And the patron pass, as you can see, you get extra XP, extra gold, gear from platinum, backpack space, resting speed, 2 more pre-made strategies while you're in combat. So you can see there were 4 of the pre-mades that I was clicking on, and you can only get 2 if you're free playing. But if you go to the premium status, you can get access to all 4. Then you get 1 random bonus every day from the things here. So that's what a premium account gets you. Now, while I'm in combat, I will show one more time. I can change those presets. So we'll go in here. So like I'm at preset 1 and I've got all this stuff kind of preset up to go off in the first round. And this is sort of my main combat. Well, I can swap these out anytime I want to. I can put work right here. I can remove this and put 3 points into this. So I can spend these points however I want to sort of increase the effectiveness of some of these other abilities. Or I can just swap out abilities altogether if something's not working. But you've got these presets to sort of get you started. And I like the idea of having the 4. So if I continue to play this game like I believe I'm going to, I'll probably end up going premium to get access to 4 of those. Be super convenient to set up even more sort of scenario specific setups that make it a little easier for me to finagle into other scenarios by moving some points around or swapping some abilities out depending on what's going on around me. So what you've seen so far combat wise has just been really easy stuff. Some of it at lower levels, some of the stuff was challenging. I have died a couple of times while leveling. Twice, I think I've died twice. I know I've died once, and I think I've died twice while leveling, just because I wasn't paying enough attention. I should have been paying more attention to what was going on around me. I really, really love the look of the world. I like the isometric point of view. It's different. It gives you a different perspective on the world, and I really love the art style, the CRPG, the painted looking background. The world itself is really gritty, but yet you've got elements of high fantasy in here to really sort of get that geek going. And then the port area too. Like you see, there are parts of villages that are just really nice. You get to the port where it's just all rainy and messy. It's a very industrial area. They've done some really good job with the areas. The world building has been phenomenal. The artwork is phenomenal. I really enjoy that. Turn-based combat has been fine. It's been fun. 10 seconds feels very short right now. Still learning the game. I'm still trying to master the game. But 10 seconds for combat right now feels very, very short. Hopefully we'll reach a point later on where that starts feeling a little longer as I get used to combat. But right now I'm always feeling super rushed. I have learned that I can go ahead and be setting up for the next round while the animations are going off for the previous round. So hopefully that helps me improve combat-wise going forward. Overall, I have to say this is an MMO that I've enjoyed. It's different, it's refreshing, so it's going to be able to stay in the rotation with other games that I'm playing because it sets itself apart in a lot of different ways, especially with the art style and the top-down perspective and the turn-based combat. It really separates itself from everything else that I'm playing. So I really enjoy having this as a nice change of pace type MMO. In some ways, it's a little more laid back. In some ways, it can get pretty intense when you get into fights that are actually your level and you've only got those 10 seconds to spend those points, and that might go off in a suboptimal way if you don't get that stuff set up, or if you don't have your tactics set up properly, or if you're not paying attention to what your enemy is. If they're holding a crossbow, you're going to need to put some points into ranged defense. Now, they could still have a melee attack, but they're probably primarily going to damage you with that crossbow, and it's going to do the most damage, so you need to defend against that. I have been in a couple of fights with other players, and like I said, occasionally some of the NPC companions that you're adventuring with will join you in fights. Obviously, with other players, you've both got the 10 seconds to spend, and then you'll take your turns. And the way it usually works is like all the mental attacks go off first, then all the ranged attacks, then all the melee attacks. That's the order that everything sort of takes place once the combat actually happens. And then whenever you've got an NPC companion, you don't actually control them. You're just using your own points to set up your own attacks. And they'll sort of sometimes tell you in the text box what they're going to do. But for the most part, they're just there to help you, and you don't really have a lot of control of them. It's like being in there with another player. So overall, I think this has been a fun game. I think it's been a quality game. It's feature-wise, as the client, it's bare bones. Like they just added the exit button like after launch. So what we were having to do was log out and then Alt-Tab to get the thing to close. There is an exit button now. It's little stuff like that, right? That still needs to get addressed. So they just added the exit button. That's been taken care of. It actually will close the game now, which is good. But graphic-wise, as you can see, this is the extent of the graphics options. So there's not a lot going on options-wise here right now. It's pretty bare-bones client. As we go back to character creation, and character creation is pretty bare-bones as well. But of course, it's your character's going to be smaller down in an isometric view, and you're not going to have a ton of options of as far as what you want to be able to create. So let's say I want to make a male voodoo. This is character creation here. Got a few hairstyles. That's it. Hair color, eyebrows, eye shape, eye color, nose shape, head shape, beard. There's only mustaches and beards and nothing. And then the color again for the beard. That's the extent of character creation. So, you know, nothing super in-depth as far as that type of stuff. There is the crafting and the upgrade systems and things like that in the game. But it's something I enjoy, something that sets itself apart. Hopefully you'll like it too. It's free to try, free to download, free to play with an optional premium subscription, and then the cash shop that we looked at. But for now, I think this first look is done. This is sort of what the new player experience looks like. Hopefully it's up you to decide if it's something that you want to download and try for yourself. I, of course, have been the Noob Fridge, Troy Blackburn. You can follow me on Twitter at NoobFridge, and always head over to MMOBomb.com to check out the latest news and information on everything online multiplayer. And subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. Do us a solid. Appreciate it so much. Until next time, this first look is done. I'm out, folks. See ya.